Welcome, everybody.
Okay, good morning, everyone. 11 a.m. Time to get started.
If you can hear me, clap once.
Oh,
If you can't hear me, clap twice. Come on now.
former educator.
All right, so Rich, we got a lot of crazy stuff today.
Busy day.
We're running
They're all
all over
over
the place, so this is an interesting meeting.
Yep.
We're kind of thrown together, so.
Remember, if y'all are still talking, the microphones are picking you up.
Sorry.
In case there's any. Yep, there we go. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Everything you
Cool.
say goes out into the interworld. Okay, Nicole, is our guest on yet?
Our guest is not on yet.
We'll pivot. Jesse Fisher, come talk to us about KW Military. For those of you that don't know, Jesse is our market center rep for KW Military. And she has already planned a lot of cool, fun events. So if you are military, this is your gal.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Can you speak a little bit more?
For anybody I haven't met,
There's the
okay,
intro
as
up
Rachel
there.
said, Jesse Fisher, guilty as charged, half of the Fisher team. Little bit about us, Brian is a 20-year retiree. I've spent my entire adult life surrounded by a military community. So, you know, it's something that we're both obviously very passionate about, and so felt drawn to, you know, apply and work in this role. One thing I want to make mention of, if you are a military family member, active duty, retiree, reserve, National Guard, whatever you are, there are different designations in command that you can make to delineate yourself where you fit in those categories. If you have done that and you are in our market center, you would have received an email from me this week. If you did not receive an email and you believe you should have, there was an update in command and a bunch of designations fell off. Brian was one of them. He completely lost his KW military designation. I was like, you're not on my list. So that turns out why,
Quick checks and
but
balance.
yeah. So if you need any help doing that, I'm happy to help you. Just give me a call, shoot me a text. Nicole can help you with that as well. It's under your marketing profile. There is a military spouse meetup this afternoon at 3 p.m. So if you are designated as a spouse and you'd like to be a part of that, let me know. I'll text you the link. The September trainings and meetups and such will be on the calendar. I'm working with Haley to make sure that they're on there each month. And I would love to schedule like some meetups for parts of the community for different things. And then one thing that I'm really hoping that we'll take over is the Veterans Day planning.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's yours.
There
It's
we
yours.
go.
I done thee.
That was-
There we go.
That was very easy.
Yeah, so have a few ideas for that too, of which I'd like to, you know, work with other members of the community to do a Veterans Day breakfast for veteran agents or folks affiliated with our market center, as well as maybe a bottomless pitcher at a brewery. So look for some
Okay.
information coming out for that for fundraising. It would be like bottomless pitcher for veterans, which we could invite clients who we know are veterans and such to go in and have a beer on us. So
That's awesome.
but that's just a little bit, and happy to help. Track me down.
KW Military is a huge community inside of KW. If you have any type of military connection, you want to get involved with
Yes,
this.
yeah. Thank you, Jesse.
And my secret goal is to make us the biggest non-military installation market center community in KW.
Do you want to be military to do the meetups?
No, you can be a supporter or a patriot as well. That's a different.
So to go off Jesse's point, if we have an event or we don't have an event that you're really passionate about, and you say, hey, how can we make this a market center event? Come talk to us. And if you say, I want to be a part of this, we would love for you to. More hands on deck, the better. For
Absolutely.
instance, Bethany said that she wants to help out with Hispanic heritage. Awesome, great. More the merrier. We will never say no to hands. So-
Yeah, the more resources and the more connections we have is just great everywhere.
Yep. So pivoting now, how many of you were at Jordan Freed last year? Okay, that means there's a lot of opportunity in this room to attend. So if you do not know, Jordan Freed is a MAPS leadership coach, and he has this wonderful program called My Freed Life. And we are bringing it back to our market center this year, which is super exciting. However, space and room is limited because we're gonna have it here. And I have had people in Chicago and other markets that want to fly in to attend this training because Jordan is so powerful. So Jordan is joining us today. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us. What do we need to know about My Freed Life?
And we need to.
Well, My Freed Life actually first is two parts. And so we run this very similar to Bold in the sense that we want you to get a taste of this for free before you invest any time or any money. And so first we have our free virtual course. This is going to be next Wednesday. You can see it right there on that flyer, August 30th from 2 to 3. And I would invite each and every one of you to attend that. If for some reason you're not able to make it, conflict with the schedule, whatever, go ahead and register, because you will receive the recording, and we have a little workbook that we give out for that, the slides and that type of thing. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm a MAPS executive coach. I live actually in Lawrence, Kansas. So for those of you that might be Mizzou fans, don't hold that against me. But I'm in your region. I am an adamant Chiefs fan, so we probably have that in common. And honestly, I've spent my last 8 years living in a coaching call. I've done 13,500 coaching calls in my career. And during that time, I've noticed patterns in people. And my all-time favorite quote is, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And from that quote came my greatest discovery as a coach. And my greatest discovery as a coach is that all of us grow up and we download these programs into our subconscious mind. And these programs act without conscious effort. They act without conscious awareness, meaning we don't even know that they're there. And have you ever been in a moment in time? Maybe it's with your health, it's with your finances, it's with your business, maybe your relationships, and you find yourself stuck in this pattern of, I know what to do, I just don't do it. Has anybody besides me ever been there? And then we're like, because we're super smart, right? We have access to information. Obviously, this group is super good looking, so we have everything.
Yes.
And yet we don't follow through. And I get infinitely really curious about that in people. And that's what led to this program, because my second favorite quote of all time is that everyone you meet is fighting a great battle they know nothing about. Always be kind. And what I realized is that often many of us, because of the programming that we picked up as young children that we didn't even know was there, are fighting a great battle that we know nothing about. And what this is all about is raising that unconscious programming into your awareness. We give you a very specific system to make the unconscious conscious, so that you can finally get out of the pattern of, I know what to do and I just don't do it. And I want each and every one of you to understand this, that we all engage in what's called self-sabotaging behavior. Self-sabotaging behavior can show up in different forms in different people. For some people, it shows up in the form of binging Netflix. For some people, it's constantly scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. For some people, it's eating. Some people, it's drinking. And we all have those habits that we want to change. But here's the problem, is that those habits, they meet a need for you. And what we do is we try to get into a battle. We say, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. But we don't fulfill the need. And it creates this constant, never-ending inner civil war. And ultimately, for many, leads them to a belief that they are somehow broken. You're not broken. You're tangled. And what this program is all about is, how do we provide a system? It's very tactical. There's not very many theoretics in this program. How do I consistently and systematically untangle myself so that I can finally become the person I've always known I was meant to be? How do I get the rock out of my shoe? How do I quit running around and in this constant state of inner civil war. And I'll tell you that one of the greatest questions that we help people figure out, because I have a good friend who shared a quote with me that I never forgot. What he said was, is people don't need a new way to set goals. He said, people need a different way to have a relationship with their goals. And here's what I've found in coaching people, that you're going to have one of two types of relationships with your goals, with your vision, the thing that you're after. You're going to have one that it feels like it's strengthening you. The pursuit of it makes you stronger, smarter, better, faster. You become more alive in its pursuit. Or you're going to have a relationship that it feels like it's sacrificing you. And I know that in a group of this size, there's a proportion of you that feels every single week, every single month, that the pursuit of your goal is making you a little weaker. You're getting a little bit more worried, and you're asking yourself, how long can I sustain this? And what this program does is it helps you remove all that interference so that you can finally stop driving around with your emergency brake on. And so, as we mentioned, it's not some marketing ploy. Seating is limited. We have people coming in from all over the region because I'm promoting this region-wide. I'm friends with the regional director. I do that on Monday, where I'm going to present to the entire region and all the regional leaders. It will sell out. And so I would encourage you to first sign up for You First, which is next week. And I would encourage you today to sign up for My Freed Life. And here's the guarantee that I make people, is if we're in that class and you show up by noon, you haven't gotten the value, you feel like I'm just, making stuff up, or I'm not delivering what I said I would do. You come up to me at lunch, hand me your book, and I will refund you, no questions asked. So there's no risk to you. So Springfield, I'm coming back. I'm excited to see many of you. And I really, really hope that you will take me up on taking this program, because it might just be that defining moment that you really need. So thank you for the opportunity to share with you all today. If you have questions, feel free to check us out on our site, myfreelife.com. You can contact me there. Otherwise, I'll plan on seeing you all next week virtually, and then I'll see you physically September 20th in Springfield.
And you know what I think is really cool? At Mega Camp, we had all of these top agents on stage sharing with Gary Keller how they hit their level of success or what they did. And the thing I heard 2 or 3 times was that Jordan was their coach at one point, or it currently is. How cool is that? That those people that are on stage sharing with KW of what they're doing, and we're going to have the person that took them to that level going to be here in person. And if you took it last year, take it again. And this quarter is going to be so transformational for so many of our agents, because we have Bold and we have Jordan. Think about what your Q4 and what your 2024 is going to start to look like now, when you do the work on yourself first before you look at your business.
So true.
If you're online, Nicole put the links there for both of them. The first, the 2 different links you need. And we've got the flyer up here too. And we do have sign up stuff up at the front desk too. But it will sell out quickly. So make sure you're getting on this as soon as possible.
Yeah. And one of the things I think I benefited from the most of it was that Trey was able to take it with me as well. So if you want to make the investment and your spouse or whoever significant other wants to be a part of it, bring them along part of the journey. It was so neat to be able to work through the workbook together and to see what each of us put, especially when we had to write the 10-year letter. That was the best part. So.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I so appreciate you and look forward to seeing you all again very soon.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jordan.
Bye-bye.
All right. So that's gonna be a great thing. That date is again September.
September 20th.
Can I
Wow.
make a point really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I knew nothing. I'd heard of Jordan Freed. I, heard he was great, whatever. And I came to his class and it literally changed the way I interact with my family, the way I interact with my colleagues, and the way I started coaching differently. And I started showing up differently for for our PC group. It really, but you have to be there to hear the message, right? If you're skeptical going into it, like I played all in and it was so worth it. So much that as soon as this link came back out, I signed my husband up and I signed Tori up, who works hand in hand with me with the PC program because I want my life to change. I didn't even get myself signed up just yet, but that's next. But I feel this is very powerful. And it's about real estate and it's not at all, right? It really changes who you are. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. So get signed up today before he talks to OPs, TLs, MCAs on Monday. So you can reserve your spot because again, space is limited and we're done here. Amy.
Can you read us the times on that?
I know, I can't
It
see.
is 9 to 4, 9 to 4.
On September 20th?
20th. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you bet.
Awesome.
The You First is next Wednesday from 2 to 3. Sorry.
Sorry for everybody. I had.
How much is it?
$2.99. And if you attended last time, you do get a discount for attending again.
Awesome. A lot of good stuff going on.
On to the next.
Hang on,
Oh, we
gotta-
gotta reshare the slides. Maybe we'll skip the introduction.
Is
of
that
meeting
QR, is there a paper with that?
Yes,
For the
everything up
Zoom?
front.
Okay, small.
Yep, just go up to anybody in the leadership and they'll help you get taken care of.
Almost there. Where's my laser? Yep, you don't get to meet people today, so never ignore this.
Yeah. We got power pack training
That's
today.
right. So, mission moment. Last week it was Samantha Armour.
Sam, do you wanna come up and present? Or do you want us to read? Okay, we got it. All right, no worries at all.
So the winner for this week is Danielle Biersman.
Woohoo!
Danielle's a force you want to be aligned with in this business. Her KW Kool-Aid cup spills over to her peers, colleagues, and clients, and not a single ounce of her success is taken for granted.
Here.
Need a pen?
Yep, sorry.
So since she's not here, grab your phones. We need to text her and tell her congratulations for being a culture winner.
417-292-8271.
Operators are standing by.
417-292-8271.
So congrats to Danielle and congrats to Sam. She had to hold on to it for 2 weeks since we didn't have team
Lucky
meetings last
you.
week. So
I needed that extra week to.
awesome. Jim, do we have anything for broker moment today?
Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. Everybody's so excited.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And guess what? We'll have more because tomorrow we have a brokers meeting at the board. So I'm sure next week
Yeah,
will be boom, boom,
that'd be
boom.
No, I don't go to classes because I'm so old and I've attended most of them and taught a lot of them. But that one comment about being tangled. That's it, isn't it? Maybe worth going to the class just to hear how he explains that. How do I get untangled, you know? So I would think about that one. I mean, that kind of made an impression on me. I don't get impressed very much. We've seen on Facebook quite a few items where, and they don't accuse us specifically, but they're talking about agents who are calling people and they're already listed and saying, I've got a buyer for your home, blah, 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 blah. Look, I don't care if you have an inside sales agent or you're doing it yourself. The first step is what? What's the first thing you do before you call anybody?
TCPA, a no-call list.
That'd be good. See if it's listed.
Check online or if it's
Check online, see if it's listed. I got if it's listed, you've just violated MREC and MR and ethics. I mean, you're going to hell.
Realtor hell.
You just take section on YouTube later.
The point is, I have never understood that. Why, when I see that complaint, I think, how could somebody, an agent, a real live licensed agent, done that? Because the first thing you do, it's not that hard. You got the MLS open, you put the address up there, and if it comes up, you don't call them. They're not your clients. You don't lie to them and say you have a buyer. And I would also caution you against saying, I have a buyer for your property. If you're gonna lie to somebody, say, I'm working with buyers in the market area, that would be a better lie, right? That would be much better than saying, I have a buyer specifically for your house. So I'm just cautioning you against doing that because I see it and I know it's not specifically us, but I know with 450 agents, somebody here is doing it or done it. Don't do it. I mean, it's embarrassing to see that because we're all professionals. And if somebody called one of my clients and said that, and I found out who it was, I would call Don immediately and have him take care of it.
And same with your golden letters as well. If you are doing golden letters, make sure you're putting on there, if your home is listed with an agent, this is not to be considered a solicitation, right? And to Jim's point, how do you redefine your golden letters so you're not just saying, I have a buyer, and they call you and they say, oh, who's your buyer? And you're saying, oh, I don't know. I actually don't. I'm just sending it to everybody. So
If I'm doing handwrittens, because I like to do that for canceled and expireds that I can't get a hold of, do I need to put that whole thing on there as
Well,
well?
you see, this is not a solicitation.
I have like
It's
a little-
simple statement and it's, I mean,
I
you
saw your
find it
mouth
anywhere.
mark it.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
all it
you need to
is.
make sure that's put on there, so that way they know if it's listed at that point, because by the time you send it, if it goes listed and you didn't know, at least put that at the bottom, so you have it in writing.
Currently actively listed or working with an agent, you know, this is not a solicitation. It's simple, you can always defend that.
I have a little stuffer that I put in there.
Oh, good.
So like, because Elise will handwrite and I just stuff those.
That was
Stand.
cool.
Yep.
All right, love it. Okay, market stats. It was really weird, but listings are listings went down, contracts went up, if I remember. I looked at this 2 days ago, so I can't remember. But it's beginning of school, every week is totally different. But we are seeing, the one I want to get to, we're getting closer to last year's numbers. So Selma had 359 listings Monday, last year 389. It's only 30 difference. It's been a couple hundred a ways back. And mostly, don't call people you're not supposed to. We'll just throw this in somewhere.
Find the resources here.
Exactly. And we're over 1,300 active listings. It's the first time this year, if I remember right. Yeah, last time was October. Well, we had 1,400 last October, but this is the first time we've been this high this year.
I think we hit the 1,300, October 2nd, last year when we hit over 1,300.
So there are more homes available than last year. All right, vendor guide. We have a lot of vendors in here and affiliates. If you all can stand up real quickly, say who you are, and then we'll try and meet you afterwards because we have a lot of things to try to get through. Let's start right here.
Derek,
All right, Derek Cheney, residential lender with Mid-Missouri Bank.
thanks for being here. Okay, working through Great American.
Cindy and Christy, C Squared, Great American Title, we love you. We want to meet you, work with you. There you go.
Okay, working through
Anyone in
back
the back?
there. Christina.
Hi, Christina Ferrante with 417 Home Loans at Flat Branch. We just launched a new program that is a $4,000 love gift, a grant that is not paid back, just from Fannie Mae and Flat Branch for conventional buyers. So see me about it. It's called Flex Funds.
Alex.
Yep, hey everyone, Alex Costas, Community Mortgage Brokers. We're in a rising rate environment right now, and so if you have any buyers or anyone that is having a hard time getting into a house, let me know.
Awesome, thank you. And Jeff, you are online.
Good morning, Jeff County with Verus Pinnacle Mortgage. We do have a 1% down conventional loan and 2% grant towards down payment. Would love to talk more about it. So have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Jeff.
So right after teaming, the 4 lenders that are here are gonna have a deathmatch wrestle. Here at the front. Not really. We're so glad all of you are
We'll
here.
keep Jeff on the Zoom as well, so he
That's
can be
right.
part of it.
Yeah. Okay, realtor slide. We won't go through a whole lot here. Was that a video?
We'll go.
You got the market statistics on Sunday night in your slide, in your email. If you don't get that, look for it. It's got a lot of stuff on there each time. At Home with Diversity is gonna be here in Springfield during the fall conference, so just look for that info. Safety Month is next month. Donnie Allen is a KW Joplin person, correct?
I do not know.
I think he is.
Okay.
So, but he's gonna have a great class on this, on safety. We're also gonna have Elise Riley in here, so just.
For a
her.
team meeting, we're gonna have a safety, yeah, Elise Ellis is like, don't sign me up for no safety. No, Elise Riley, and I hear she may tackle someone.
That's
Just
right.
kidding, Just kidding.
She handcuffed me that one time.
Sure she did.
Here in front of the team meeting. Apparently I violated something, so I got arrested.
Oh, the other Elise. Oh my gosh.
No, Elise Riley. Yep.
I thought I had handcuffed you.
No. No.
Okay, on to the next.
On we
Yep,
go.
yep, let's go.
Committee Expo, September 12th. That'll be great. It's at the Borders at Relics or
GSBR office.
GSBR office. Fall Business Conference. This is during the Jordan Freed thing. So I would come to Jordan Freed and then catch them in the business conference too. It's at the Oasis. So it's in town this fall. Marketing social presence. Like I said, you get all these things. I did want to show you this one. There are some leadership things coming up, and the more we're in leadership at the board, the more our voices are heard. So look at these. It's not that hard to get into it. Shoot, we got Dan Holt into the MLS board. Anybody can get into this
It's
stuff.
gonna be a real exciting time.
That's right. Well, look for that. And then they have a whole thing of save the dates for the rest of the year. This was in your email. Look for this. Make sure you got it on the calendar. The more we're out and seeing, the more people realize how cool we are and it helps us grow. Here
Training
we are.
calendar.
Yep. So August is almost done. Bolt's gonna be taking a lot of it. You all figured out the team meetings are on Wednesdays for the next 6 weeks. We have a seller's contract class tomorrow and that's about it.
Tomorrow,
Oh, and
admin mastermind.
Yeah.
So if you are an admin or you're a rainmaker and you want to come hear what we talk about, please come join us. It will be 9 a.m. Really cool topic. We're actually gonna go through some mega camp stuff in the playbook that was given out, some of the plays.
And how many of you in here were in Bold yesterday? Quite a few. That's what I thought. It was amazing. We do want to thank the people who helped put that on. So we've got, thank you to Dogstone Home Inspection and is it just called Home Warranty?
Yep. Home
Okay,
warranty.
Home Warranty and Central Bank yesterday. So Bolt, it is not too late to join. We're at
57.
No, we added 4 more today.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
2 from here, 2 from Joplin, so we're at
161.
161. It
Wow.
is the biggest live Bold in the country.
Mhm.
We're trying to get to 173. It's not too late. It's gonna be amazing.
173 beats Molly's highest bold. She had 172, so we're trying to beat that. You know, why not? Competition.
Exactly. And if you need to hire somebody in the near future, we're thinking about it ever. Leverage Series helps you learn how to do it, because if you don't hire right in the first place, it's really hard to unhire.
And we're about to talk about some of the mistakes when hiring, so this is perfect.
Perfect, awesome. So that's September 6th and 7th. David is a great teacher of this class. We're gonna have a bunch of us going up. It's at Kansas City this
Yep.
year.
Overland Park.
So that's very worthwhile if you're looking at the point where your team is getting ready to grow more. All right, this week's focus, we got there.
Oh, there's 2 slides. Interesting.
Yeah.
Mega recap and all that.
Yep, this is just I want to put a fun jiffy in there.
Literally can't take them anywhere.
Okay,
It's not peanut
sadly,
butter.
I was not at Mega Camp this year because I was at the NAR Leadership Convention up in Chicago, which was echoing a lot of the same stats, but I love how we have it so much clearer and concise. So Rachel, I'm gonna give you the clicker.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna talk about some of the most valuable things I saw at Mega Camp. I know everybody else has some takeaways and we'll talk about those at the end. So the first one, let's talk about hiring. So this was at Gary and Jay's CEO Summit. And this was the first thing they started out with, and it's the 12 mistakes that you make when hiring. And I don't know about you all, but when I saw this, I literally cringed at times. And so when we talk about the leverage series, that is truly the process of, if I'm ready to hire, how do I hire somebody? How do I get a great training program so that way I can see if they are the right fit in the first 30, 60, 90 days? And then when I realize that they are the great fit, how do I succeed through them? Because without them, why did I hire them? And they're supposed to help my business grow as well. So as much as they grow, I grow. So these are the 12 mistakes whenever you in leadership, whenever you're hiring somebody. And I've talked to a lot of people and everybody's had different takeaways from it. Number 1, not always looking for talent. So whenever you're out in the public, are you looking, saying, oh, that's someone that's talented? Maybe not for you, but I bet you know somebody in your world, maybe not in real estate, but in another industry that could use a talented person. Number 2, not hiring killers.
Yeah, I needed this one explained when I saw it online.
And I brought my definition of it.
Okay, good.
So not hiring killers. We underestimate the need for extremely talented people. They will be okay, they will be fine. If that's the case, you didn't hire a killer. You just we hire out of pain and delegation, not talent to take the business to a next level. If they hired a killer, they hired out of accident. You can't maximize your potential with someone who is less than you, not just support you, that levels you up. You hire for integrity, intelligence, and energy. But if you didn't hire for integrity, the other 2 will kill you. It starts and ends with integrity. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. So different kind of killer.
Different kind, definitely.
Number 3, hiring people that need to change. Oh, I can change them. Bring in my organization. I can make them better. Okay, we have to start with step 1. Failing to help people grow. There was a great analogy at this at Bold where we had the fish bowl and the fish within it. And the question was, how big would this fish grow? And it's as big as the bowl is going to be. So how big is your environment going to be and how much are they going to grow within it? Waiting for replacement before replacing. Oh, I'll just wait. I'll find somebody. And then once I get them, then I can do it. Then I'll let them go. No, what is the cost? Buying into say versus do. Failing to inspect what you expect. Not letting goals be the bad guy. Ooh, this one hit hard, right? Because if you're a high I and you want people to love you and you always want to keep the peace, Sometimes you take it more personally and think, oh, they don't like me. But if you have a goal that's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely,
Smart.
SMART goals, it's a yes or no. Did you hit this? Yes or no? Let the goals be the bad guy. Propping people up, failing to listen your way to success, running on personality gap and not organization gas, and leading from me-go instead of we-go. When you have decided to bring this someone into your environment to be a part of your team, the ego needs to leave the room. There's no need for it. Because at the end of the day, if they are succeeding, you will succeed as well. It's the Y4C2Ts. So this was like my favorite and it was day one. So if you need a copy of that, I can share. It's a picture of it and we'll put it part of here. But this is something as leaders, you should always have this printed out and referencing. And so it's self-awareness.
I think the looking for talent all the time, because you never know when you're gonna run into somebody and you can help change their life by just keeping them in mind. The big thing also that Dave will talk about on leverage, there could be a great person, but they're not in the right fit. You don't wanna hire somebody and put them in a position they're not gonna succeed in.
And it's the culture and the talent side of it. If they're the right culture, you can coach them to build their skill level. But if they're not in culture, you can't ever change that. That's who they are. Without them self-discovering and going through an awareness on their side of it too.
They need to go through My Free Life as well.
There you go.
Figure that out
Yeah.
as also.
So this is so good. Keep it, have it. Y'all have any questions, let us know. Okay, so home sales, there we go, delayed, monthly. We've talked about this before. And we're gonna go through it. Remember when we talked about the seasonal income cycle and how as real estate agents, there's a seasonality in the business and what that does for our income? Well, here's the comparison. Purple is 2022 and blue is 2023. In 2022, we didn't really experience that seasonality in the market. It was just kind of declining in a little bit, which we haven't really seen seasonality in the last few years, especially since COVID, everything went out the window. Our seasons just changed. Now with 2023, we're starting to see some seasonality. We see in January, we had a little uptick and now we're about to go. So whenever we're looking at the seasonal income cycle, right now, we're kind of hitting the peak and then we're gonna start dipping down. So as agents, what activities do I need to increase so I'm not feeling that seasonality? But then on a financial standpoint, what do I need to prepare for? And this isn't to scare everybody, it's just an awareness around it. It's a way to ask yourself questions, it's a way to talk to your team. What are we doing so we can take the seasonality out of our business? And if you can do that, you are winning. Because so many agents feel that seasonality and they think, oh, it's just the season. It's just the market. It's just the time of the year. There are so many agents that don't even care about that. This is what we're gonna do. And then I don't care what the market is, good or bad, seasonality or not. This is our goals.
Here's how I always look at that. It goes down right before Christmas.
Mhm.
I don't wanna have a sad Christmas. So I wanna keep doing things and doing the activities so that the holiday seasons can just be a way to bless everybody I can come across.
Yeah.
So don't just say, well, it's fall, everything's gonna slow down. Other agents are gonna slow down. Let's keep going.
And it's what are the stories are you telling yourself to then potentially put a limiting belief or well, this is just what the market is. And we'll kind of go over that in a couple of slides as well. So next slide, sides per agent. So again, if I hear there's a seasonality and the market's it's changing, it's gonna be lower.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, you're gonna be part of this sides per agent statistic. So we're looking at in 2023, the projected sides per agent is about 5.7. Last year, it was 6.4. The reason you're feeling kind of this weirdness in the market is this is the lowest it's ever been recorded since it's been recorded in 1977. So there is a weirdness in the market because this is the lowest sides per agent we've ever seen. And so many agents are having to navigate that. And are you having conversations around this? So a lot of agents don't get to see this perspective, so they have no idea what's happening right now. They're just thinking, oh, I heard it was hard. Oh, we're in a downturn, we're in a recession.
And we haven't really lost agents nationwide, have we?
No, we haven't, because agents are still hoping that they can get the transaction to keep them in the business. But what environment are you a part of and what conversations are you having? So as we see this changing and we know it's gonna get tighter, again, it's the activities. And just like in Bold and Jordan, it's how do I work on myself before I take it to my business? Now, doom and gloom, if I showed you this slide first, there we go. This, in 2023, we are gonna end in the third highest volume year ever recorded. So if I showed you this first, and we said, that's the meeting, you all would be like, oh my gosh, I'm making so much money, heck yeah. But when we look at the slides and sides per agent, okay, really delayed, there we go. It's focusing on the units and the volume will follow. So how do you keep looking at those units? How do you keep doing the activities 1% better every single day? Because if you do that, the volume will follow. And if we're finishing out the third highest, that's a huge opportunity. And it may be, how do I increase my average sales price from 250 to 400? Well, by changing those units, you're also going to change your income because the volume will happen. So this is what they're projecting for market volume per agent. Now to the next slide.
It'll get there.
Mortgage universe. So I thought this was so interesting. And this is a great slide for an awareness for you all. 89% of mortgages have a rate of 5% or less. So now the conversation isn't going to be, oh, well, it's easy, just go buy a house, the rates are better. If everybody has a rate of 5% or less, they're probably thinking, oh, I'm not leaving this house. I'm never moving now. So what conversations are you having? We know they'll have death, divorce, all the 7 Ds of life. What is going to cause them to move? And how close in proximity are you to each of those people? So with 89% of mortgages having rates 5 or less, the biggest one, 32% have 3 or less percent.
Wow.
Wild.
I had just heard a statistic that 60% was less than 3.5% on the news recently. Just a couple days ago is when I mean, it's still a big number regardless.
Oh, yeah. This was at Mega Camp. So now here we break it out in 87 million homeowners. Each house equals 1 million households. 39% of this data own their house outright, no mortgage. 31% have less than 50% equity, and 30% have more than 50% equity in their home.
Yeah.
Greater than 50, what?
You just said it backwards.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I just want to make sure.
Greater than, yeah. Stats. Math. So what kind of conversations are you having with your clients? Because if I know 39% own it outright, what kind of wealth building conversations can I have to them? I mean, at KW, we talk about building a life bigger than just buying and selling real estate. It's about building a life that you can create a legacy.
And this is where our mortgage partners come in because
Oh my goodness,
there's
yes.
line of credit things. There's different ways you can take the leverage from what you've got. Maybe make this become a rental property and
Yes.
you buy your next home.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of different options. It's just having a conversation with people and letting them think normal, letting them not hear what nightly news is telling you every night.
Exactly, and it's a perspective. As a real estate agent, you give them their perspective. You are the
Mhm.
agent that's in the industry that can take it away from the news.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hear the news, it's either one way or the other. You never really know. So how do you give perspective at not a national level, but a local level? This is what we are seeing in our current market. And this last slide, 70% of homeowners have at least 50% equity in their home. That's a conversation to all of your database. Do they know? And if not, would you like me to run a market analysis to tell you how much you have in your home? That's a great way. In Bold yesterday, we started the conversation. Remember, we were sending a message to everybody? What if you said, hey, on average, 70% of homeowners have at least 50% equity in their home? Do you know how much equity you have in yours? How many responses do you think you'd get?
Oh man, on that text thing,
Mhm.
that'd been great.
Right?
And that's the thing, you've got to come from value with people. I love what Trey had yesterday about communicating with people about, hey, fall's coming, you need somebody for, another one I hit yesterday was, hope you're enjoying the heat, haha. If you need HVAC service, please let me know. I've got a couple good people. There's always a reason to stay in touch with your database. It's not about, hey, do you want to sell your house? Hey, do you want to sell
Do you
your
know
house?
anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest?
No, it's, you gotta build a relationship with people. So, okay, so others, what else? I know we got a lot of people online, other people here.
Yeah.
What else did you all get that went to Mega Camp? What other things can we share with each other?
Well, Mike, first off, you were at the NAR conference.
Yeah.
Did you hear anything different from what we just shared?
So the interesting thing I heard, because they have a guy named Lawrence, I can't remember his last name, great guy. Lawrence what? Okay, the great economist, and he was talking about the stats for next year, and it was echoing this. We're probably, as a housing industry, seeing a slight increase next year. So it's not gonna keep drastically falling. The interesting stat he said, and this is a fun one to start conversations with people, is foreclosures have doubled in the last year. They went from 0.02 to 0.04. Okay, so there's not that many. But he said if the news got a hold of it, they say, yeah, foreclosures are double. So I'm using it as a great conversation. Yeah, foreclosures have doubled all around our area. Yeah, there's now 2 of them, you know, something like that. It's a great conversation thing because it's all numbers are a conversation thing. That's how I look at it. Anybody online?
So one of the segments that wasn't live streamed, they talked about hustle culture versus happy culture.
Oh,
And that was one of the most refreshing things I've heard. We're going to this worldwide conference and Gary Keller, instead of saying sell more houses, is saying, how do we make sure you're happy? How do we make sure you're living out what you want to achieve? And one of the things that they had mentioned is hustle first, happy. If you're hustling first, happy a second, it's a broken formula that doesn't work. It's backwards. Choose to be happy every day with 3 things. 1, prioritize key relationships, people who have ownership of your heart. Number 2, honor your personal commitments. So on your calendar, that's a reflection of what you're doing. So are you saying no to the key relationships that you have and you're choosing that over work? Or is it vice versa? Because your personal stuff should always be on your calendar first, time blocked. Nothing else matters as long as you're hitting that. Number 3, give your life over to something bigger than yourself. I thought it was so neat that they talked about that. And it said your calendar reflects your values. Living a culture of hustle may get you success. It may not make you happy. Living a culture of happy is your best chance for both.
And a coach today told me that will be, the recording that will be out next week. So we might even try and live stream that. It was just an hour or?
Ish, yeah.
So that one we'll try and get, because that sounded like such an impactful thing. Elise, yeah.
So I have a couple things that I kind of took away. I don't remember who said this or where it was said, but it was, you have 1,100 foot wells. Which well can you dig 1,000 feet deep? Have 1,000 foot well instead of 100. Or 1,100 feet well. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
really,
so building your life horizontal versus vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah, vertical, my gosh, I need more coffee today. Vertical versus horizontal. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, but what would your life look like if it's vertical? It's an integration stack versus being spread out and doing all these different things and not doing them really well. But when you know your priorities, your choices become a lot easier and more clear.
That's like doing a whole bunch
Did you
of.
have anything else you wanted to
yeah,
add?
I had another thing. There's, and I can't remember her name, but the lady that was an individual agent that had just come to code within the last year, she had a green dress on. She did 306 transactions as an individual agent by herself. And listening to her and listening to Gary ask her, well, how'd you do that? And she was like, I just did it. That affirmed me that she grinded that out. She had no life. When you look at it, I know I look outside looking in, and I know that, cause it's really easy for salespeople or people in our industry to get really hyper focused on produce, and you lose sight of what is important. Listening to her talk and made my stomach hurt because I was like, you have.
She had a young child too.
She had a young child.
And I
too.
just thought, she's all hustle and that cannot be very happy.
And no happy, and it's a grind, and you know, the fastest way to run out or burn yourself out is to do that. You have to have, and I hate the word balance because it's so cliche, but you have to have something else in your life besides work.
And that's Haley Seifert. I actually know her. She's out of the Mid-American region. So she's in Champaign, Illinois.
She's amazing. I mean, I don't know how you do that
But
without
when
being
you,
amazing.
and again, it's their choice. And it's the hustle culture or happy culture. And whatever you say yes to, you're most likely gonna have to say no to. So do you know what your values and priorities are? And in the one thing, we have our 7 circles. So if you haven't read the one thing, I would encourage you. But the 7 circles is one of my favorite exercises. And it shows you 7 circles of your life. And what you need to do is write down what does a 10 look like in each of those circles, and then rate yourself where you think you're at. So now you know where you need to go and you have a direction, a plan, a GPS of how you can get there.
And so I have one more takeaway from that, from Haley.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, so I have a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old, and I know that I will never regret doing something with them or for them to better them than missing out on what what I can add to their life to go to an appointment. So if you have kids and your priority or a spouse or somebody, a niece, a nephew, and your priority is them, make sure you put that on your calendar first, because business will always be there. You can, your family is a glass ball, in business and everything else are rubber balls, and you can drop those and those will bounce, but your family will not bounce, it will shatter.
Gary,
I wrote down a few things because I thought, man, these are great conversation starter. And so everybody talks about the economy and how bad the economy is, but I wrote down that buying your own home is controlling your cost of living. So when you're talking to people who are renting and they're talking about everything's going up and cost of living is so bad, and it will continue that way because unless you flip out of that rent cycle, you're not controlling your cost of living. And so I wrote that down because I thought, okay. And then I wrote down the net worth of homeowners is 35% greater than a renter with the same exact income.
you've given me 2 text conversations.
Yes.
One, hey,
That's why I'm
cracked the
bringing these
code
up.
on how to control your cost of living.
I actually made just a different section of notes for these are great conversation starters, and I probably have 15 that I put on that specifically. But in my mind, I thought, okay, if you're talking with somebody and they're struggling with, I just don't know if I can afford a house, blah, 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 blah. You can afford a house if you can afford that rent. And I just think that it was just a great way to open the door and let them know, one, take one of your peers, they're 35% more wealthy than you because they're not renting.
And think about whenever you lock it in and let's say it's 30 years. Well, if you're renting, some places your rent goes up every year, regardless of what your income is. And if you're getting a raise or not.
Well, and the
So-
interest rate on rent is 100%.
Oh, yeah.
It's
You're building someone
definitely
else's
not 7 or 8%, it's 100%. So-
Which you're always gonna have people that rent, and that's okay.
It's great.
And knowing that, then how do you become an investor? How do you buy a house so then someone else is building your wealth? I mean, that's a simple formula within it. So there's 2 sides of the coin, knowing there's always gonna be people to rent because there is still a shortage of houses to buy. How do you take advantage of that? I love those. Great, thank you for sharing.
I found out a friend of mine
Cassie?
has been renting an apartment for the last 25 years.
Could own the
And I'm like,
apartment.
look what, but he's just, and we almost found a house for him, but no, I just went ahead and re-signed my lease again. And it's just getting to that next step with some of them, yeah. So Cassie is next.
I don't have my notebook, so I don't have all of my notes, but the one that really sticks with me was, I don't remember who said it either, but she talked about leads, and this really changed my mindset because we all had picking up that phone and calling our cold leads or calling our lukewarm leads and calling them a worthless lead or a nowhere lead. And she said, change the word lead to human being.
Ouch.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yesterday in Baldwin, they said it's not lead generation, it's building relationships.
Yeah.
And
That
so,
was yesterday at Bold, when we did that exercise and everybody was calling everybody, the amount of people said that had someone say, I'm lonely, or, how are you doing? Like, I needed somebody to reach out to me today. And how impactful that was, that just doing that yesterday reached that many people, that it wasn't about the transaction. It was about building those relationships. That hit me like total aha, like.
I thought that was such a great way to look at it. And it's in mindset and actions is what we've learned. So it's the mindset. How are you looking at those things? And how can you change your mindset or challenge your mindset to think about it differently? And if you did that, what would you get in return? Same way, if someone reached out to you and just said, hey, I wanted to check in on you, how would you feel?
Yeah, totally encouraged.
It's the value aspect that Mike had talked about too.
And that's why people go to Chick-fil-A. They want somebody to say, my pleasure, how are you doing today?
Yeah, you're good.
And
you raise your
but
hand?
that- I mean, it's legit, people feel bad, they go.
I did. I wasn't there, but I watched the economic update and he said, or Gary said, it's always a good time to buy the right property. And I was like, ooh, yeah, it doesn't matter. There's no good investments on the market or whatever. It's always the right time to buy the right property.
But I want a deal. I want the good deals. Okay, great.
Buy it and hold it.
Yep. And that's the thing that we tell all of our agents too, is if you find a good deal or if you find a property that makes sense in the numbers and you want to buy it as an investment, I could give you 5 names of people in this building that would say, oh, here, I can help you fund that. That happens here, and you can do that, and what does that look like? Doesn't always have to be, well, I have to wait till I get this much money saved up. Again, how do you think about things and how can you make it work? Those are all
Hard
really
work
great.
isn't easy.
Huh?
Hard work isn't easy.
But you get to choose your heart. And what does hard mean to you?
Right.
So much opportunity out there.
Okay, I've got an aha from mold. I've combined Mega Camp and mold. I have Mike and I have mold.
We'll talk about mold.
Okay, so how many people were there yesterday? Okay, Molly is doing 1 bowl for this year. How many times do you think she practiced that yesterday? Anybody have an idea?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question.
At least 5.
But she said at least 25 times. She's gone through everything from yesterday.
Oh, wow.
As I was driving her over, I said,
Really?
did you do 25? I said, how'd you do that? Did you do it in front of people? She said, I did some in front of people. I recorded and listened back to myself. Where I was sitting at the soundboard, she had a stack of notes and it was so detailed. I looked at it afterwards, it said click. So it told her when to change the slides. And the takeaway I took from that, that was for one time. That was just for us. How well are we doing our listing presentation and our buyers thing? Are we getting it that fine tuned? Because
Wow.
like I said, one time, this is the only time she's teaching this whole year, and they'll probably revise it again next year, but she took 25 times to make it that way for us.
And she didn't practice on us.
No.
That's the biggest thing. Do not practice it on your clients. That is game time.
Do you want a surgeon practicing on you in the surgery? No. You hopefully they've done it on the cadaver. So when it comes time for the real thing, but that hit me big is how well are we doing, how well are we rehearsed so we can't get it wrong in front of our clients and our friends? So anyway.
Yeah, I think the other thing I had, it says, if you do the work, you will have a great real estate year. Regardless of the year, if you don't do the work and spend the time to avoid contact with people. It's always a great real estate year. It's just depending on what you're going to do.
You know what I love?
What?
All these people learn different things and they shared it. We're not a spot that says, no, I learned this, too bad for you, I'm going to beat you. I love the KW culture of helping each other out because it's such a mindset of we're all growing together.
Well, and if anyone wants our notes, I know we'll share them. So if somebody, just let Amy or I know and we'll share our notes. We took pretty detailed notes.
Another person for notes as well, Mike Hillary,
Oh.
MikeNotes.net. That is what he is. He's a regional tech trainer in the Mid-American region, but he literally goes and takes notes. CEO Summit was 40 pages of notes. One day, 40 pages of notes. Mike'sNotes.net, they're free and he's just coming from contribution. Should sign up immediately.
Yep. Okay, so after hearing the different things today, what are your action items? My favorite slide of every meeting we do. What's that?
Mike's Notes, not .net.
Yep, Mike'sNotes.net, you bet.
Anything online? Oh, she already.
Yeah, there we go. LinkedIn. Thanks, Nicole.
Also, there's a note online. There's a fall business conference and the costume masquerade dance on the 19th at the Oasis. Nancy, I assume that's September 19th?
Yeah,
Okay,
well, I guess, I don't
it
know.
could be October 19th.
It's true.
She'll tell us in a second.
Yep.
What's a costume dance?
Fall Business Conference, Women's Council will be hosting a happy hour mixer and a costume masquerade dance on the 19th at the Oasis. That would be during October.
Okay.
It's during the Fall Business Conference.
Got it, okay. Very cool. All right, reminder,
Wait, we didn't hear it. No one said an action item.
we had
Well,
one.
wait, Mike's notes. Okay, who else?
We need 2
Someone
more.
else.
2 more. What are you gonna do?
Homework.
Do your bold homework
There you go. Yep.
and
Everybody's getting untangled.
Get untangled.
we still have 12, I think it's 12 spots open for bold. It's gonna be an incredible life-changing thing for the next 6 weeks.
Yep.
Okay, reminder, team meetings will be on Wednesdays for the next 6 weeks. We will be putting out our new cycle of guest speakers and all that pretty soon.
Fall lineup.
Yeah, the fall of renewal.
Yep.
So it's gonna be.
Yes, Christina?
Are they always
11 o'clock.
11?
Yep.
Okay.
And during Bold, we'll always be at 11 during this time. Yep.
Why we moved to 11, just out of curiosity?
Because we can't do it on team meeting day. And normally you're supposed to be protecting your lead generation time if it's 9 through 11. So we picked 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you do still want to sign up for Bold, you can. I'm sorry.
You should say Nicole entering the chat. Then
I know. If you do want to sign up for Bold, you still can. So if you've been hearing from everyone how great it was and you did not attend First Steps, that's okay. There is a makeup on Friday, and then you can get signed up for full Bold after that if you would like to.
Thank you everyone for attending and thank you to the 30+ people we had online earlier.
Yep.
So, we'll see you next week.
Make sure to visit with some of our affiliates that are here.
Yes.
And eat some donuts.
Yes. Donuts.